Okay, if you haven't watched the last video, go and watch Game Skills 1 on my channel where we animated this blue dragon to fly across the screen. And now we're going to put in a scoring system and some rings that are going to be obstacles in its way that when it touches it, the ring disappears and 1 is put on the score. So we're going to do the first ring in this Game Skills tutorial too. So the first thing we need to do is go and pick up another picture box. Remember that we type in pick in the search box here and just drag and drop another picture box to the screen. Size it so it's square like that. And what we're going to do then is rename it. So we go down to its naming thing here. Make sure you've got it selected. There it is there, and I'm just going to call this pick ring. Pick ring, and because I'm going to need more than one of them later, I'm going to call it pick ring 1. Okay, so that's done. We also need something to put the score in. So before we deal with the picture in the picture box, I'm going to go back to the toolbox and put in label. And I'm going to get a label and drag it across here. Notice it's a bit small at the moment. Make sure it's selected. And we're going to call this one LBL, abbreviation for label, and score. So LBL score. Okay, we've done that. Now we're going to scroll up and go to its background color. I'm just going to change it to a nice vivid color so you can see the background. So we're going to select a yellow, and we're going to go down to its font size here. I'm going to change its font size to 12. And we're going to change it to bold. So it's just setting properties there. Now at the moment it's got label written in there. So what we've got to do, go down and find its text property. There it is there, and change that to 0. Okay, at the moment it's still a string, but it will display 0. I'm just going to move that over there so you can see it. Okay, now what we've got to do is go to our search engine and find a animated GIF. Remember, it's got to be transparent. And here's one I found early. It's just a spinning ring, and it's a transparent GIF of a ring there. Make sure it is transparent, and I'm going to save it to the debug folder, Game Skills Bin Debug, whatever yours is called. And I'm just going to rename this slightly. Keep the .gif at the end. It's very important, but I'm just going to call this ring there. Okay, and just save it. Okay, it says, do you want to replace it? Because I had it there already, but yeah, fine, we'll replace that one. Okay, so we go back to Visual Studios, and here we have it. And then I'm going to go to the little arrow up the top on this picture box, and I'm going to go and find that image. It's in our local drive. It defaults to that straight away anyway, but if you can't find it, go to your Game Skill Debug folder. Click on that. Click OK, and you can see it there, import it. And remember, we've got to go to stretch mode. So we go to stretch mode there, which puts the ring nicely on there. But do remember, when you click on that, go to its background color and change it from the default background color to web transparent. That's very, very important, so that when you put a background on it, it's actually transparent, the background of this picture. So far, so good. So what we need to do now is go to the form. You can either double click on the blue bar at the top or use the tab. But this time we're going to scroll up to the top of the form. I'm going to go to the second brace here and make a couple of spaces. And then I'm going to create an integer here, int score. And I'm going to make it equal 0 because we want it to start off at 0 when the program is first run. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a mechanism so that when it detects that the dragon has been hit, it's going to actually change the score. So we need to, let's go back to here, we need to double click on the timer. You can find it, it depends how long your code is. And then after this, after we've moved, we're going to see if we've got a detection. So we use a simple if statement with a condition in here. And the first condition we want is we've got to find out if the blue dragon, remember it's called pick blue dragon, dot bound, that's the outside of the picture box. So you can start to type bound and you can see bounds there, and select that, dot intersects with. So you've got to find the intersects with there. So I just put an I in there, you can see intersects with there. And then we want to see, if we put it in to brackets, it says here in the help, it says got to intersect with another rectangle, and that will be our pick ring. Yeah, so pick ring dot, and we've got to look for its bounds, and it defaults to that. So we now know that we're going to do, we detected whether it's touched or it's inside that. So we now put our two double curly brackets there, and we need to say what's going to happen when we do that. So the first thing we want to do is for the ring to disappear. We've got pick ring dot hide. Simple as that. So dot hide. There you go. Make sure that it's got the brackets there. That's how you finish it off. And then we've got that. So that's what it'll do. But we also need to add to the score. So we use the variable score that we had above. And basically, we want to add 1 to it. So score plus equals 1. Okay, so that's the same as score equals score plus 1. Now we need to put it into the label, because we've got the score, but it's stored locally it's stored in the program and not visually. So we go LBL score label, and its text property, remember we put 0 in it before, we want that now to equal what's in the variable score. But because it's an integer, we have to cast it to a string. So we just put toString like that, it's on the list, and make sure we've got the semicolon at the end. Now that should run it, and that should do that. But something strange will happen. So let's have a look and see what happens when we do that. Now remember, every time that it's intersecting with the two boxes, it's going to add to the score. So look at it, it's going up as the dragon goes through what is now the invisible box and comes out the other side. So it's 87 times it is intersecting with that box. So we need to add to this condition here. We've hidden the box, so we need to also test for the fact of whether the box, whether the bounds of the ring is actually hidden. And if it is, we just don't want to run that piece of code. So we put the double and sign, which says and we say pick ring. Okay, I'll just put an R there. So pick ring 1, yeah, select it off there, and we look for its visibility. So we look down here, it says visible, and that's just a Boolean. If it's visible, it's true. If it's not, it's false. So if that's false, it won't run that code. It'll just add 1 to it. So let's just test that out and see how it actually works. So the dragon flies across there. It intersects with that, and it's just scored 1. So that's it, basically. And the dragon disappears off the side of the screen.